Hey, good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
So I asked you early on, is the pressure on or is the pressure off being unopposed right now?
Well, I mean, look, the pressure's still on because, we ran for state's attorney to make sure that the people of Baltimore County had an office that was modern and made them feel safe, and now we have to build that office. So that's what we're working on now.
I was speaking of that office. I was on your website and you said you want to modernize things in the county. What were we lacking before and what do we need to do now to be more effective crime fighters?
And so, we have really great trial attorneys in the office, but the office needs more than that to be accountable to the public, right? We're asking to hold people accountable, but we need to make sure we're accountable. So we need to make sure that we're telling the public what's going on and we're telling them, what we need them to do to engage in their own safety. And so we want to make sure that we're publishing data in our office, but also that we're keeping up with the stuff that we need to hold people accountable. Think about it, 20 years ago, cell phones weren't involved in every case, right? All of the types of things, and look, not even talking about things like AI that we have to be at the forefront of. So those are the types of things that we need to bring to the office and make sure our office is communicating with the public and engaging with them.
Sure, you went to Pikesville, you went to Hopkins, and you've been around Baltimore.
Yes.
And you've seen the county grow, and I don't think it's any secret that I think crime numbers have changed a bit from the time that we were probably teenagers. What has to change now when you talk about accountability from the public standpoint and from the state's attorney's office so that these numbers can go down?
Oh, first of all, we need to know what the numbers are, right?
Sure.
We need to make sure that our prosecutors are actually addressing the cases and making sure that we're winning the cases that we need to win. That means we need to make people comfortable coming to court, right? Victims and witnesses are required to get accountability in most of our violent crime cases. And so we need to make sure that we're engaging with the community to make sure that people feel comfortable coming into the courtroom. And in addition to that, we need to be leaders as prosecutors in what we need to make sure the county's safe, in getting those resources and changing those laws and making sure that we're at the forefront of public safety.
I think a lot of the discussion and some of the headlines also lean towards juvenile crime. I think we've seen a lot of headlines where young people, including right now, we're dealing with one, a 16-year-old involved. How does your office get involved to keep juvenile offenders on the street and out of trouble?
And so I think that, it's important to talk about how things were and how things, are when I change them. And what they are now is that we have a juvenile prosecutor unit that is a unit that is a training ground for prosecutors. It's not a specialized unit. And it's really important in preventing juvenile crime that we have a specialized unit with juvenile prosecutors that understand the juvenile laws, that understand the resources, and understand that getting involved early and making sure that we get accountability at the early stages can prevent violent crime. And we also need to make sure that we are, again, at the forefront of modern juvenile prosecution, right? Sure. When these juvenile laws and timetables were created, again, we weren't dealing with the cell phones, the DNA, the technology that we need to win these cases. And so we need to make sure that our prosecutors have all the tools in the courtroom to hold people accountable. And right now, we're still kind of 20 years behind, and we need to make sure that we're catching up to best practices.
So are we lacking the teeth needed to make this or discourage the future offender? So they say, hey, listen, this happened to John down, years ago. I'm not going to do it because I saw what happened to him, kind of situation.
I think that we're lacking a lot of different things. And so what we need to first do is make sure that we're getting a handle on what we're lacking. So we know we don't have the professionalized juvenile office. That's easy to change. But then it's, again, coming back to tracking the data and understanding what's failing, right? Is it on the back end, right? Is it because we're not able to violate on probation? Is it on the front end? Are we not intervening early enough? Are we not doing enough to prevent, right? And that's the data that we need to track in Baltimore County. They are tracking that data in other counties, right? And in Baltimore City, but we haven't been doing it. So we need to get a handle on the problem in Baltimore County. I'll also note that when it comes to misdemeanor juvenile offenses, Baltimore City, for example, is around 3,700. Baltimore County leads the state with over 9,000. Wow. And so this really is a problem that we need to get a handle on when it comes to prevention and when it comes to those lower level crimes. And I think once we get that information and data, then we can be really proactive about solutions.
I know when your counterpart in the city was running, I know repeat offenders was one of his big things. Does the county see some of the same faces too often now?
Yeah, and look, that's also what the county, again, isn't tracking the data, right? And so what the county needs to start doing from the prosecutorial side is counting the data for that exact reason. We need to make sure that we understand what we're dealing with and that we're being proactive when it comes to violent repeat offenders, that we have prosecutors leading investigations into crime units that are consistent problems in areas, right? Sure. And that's the type of thing that I want to bring to the office.
What's the issue right now that keeps you up at night? What's the one that you say, when I get into the big chair, like, we got to take care of this?
I think that it's really, a lot of different issues, but also making sure that we are looking out for the victims in Baltimore County. We need to make sure that our office has more robust victim engagement, because it's a space where people should feel comfortable coming forward, whether that's a sexual assault, whether it's a juvenile crime, whatever it is. The victims in Baltimore County should know that this is an office that's fighting to make sure there's accountability in their cases. And that's what I want to make sure that we're doing, and I think that there's a lot of progress to be made in that space.
What role does the community play? I know in the city they make a big deal about when the violence numbers went down, because they feel like some of that trust is coming back. They feel like there's some buy-in. So here's our plan, we need your help. Does the county reach out the same way and looking for folks in the community to be part of the change?
So right now, our state's attorney's office is one of the only ones of our size that doesn't have a community engagement arm at all. And so that's one of the things I want to bring. I think that it's essential to that point that the community has to be a part of any public safety solutions. And so we need to engage with the community, not only to let them know, by the way, proactively what types of crime trends we're seeing, because it's also helpful to educate people, right? Especially when it comes to elder fraud and abuse. These are the types of schemes we're seeing. These are the types of trends, but also to get input from the community to rebuild that trust, because that's what gets accountability in our cases. Also, our state's attorney's office doesn't have a public affairs arm of the office. It's one of the only ones that doesn't have that. And I think that that's really important, so that we're able to communicate to the public what we're doing. Not just the cases we're winning, but also the ones that we're struggling to prove, because we need their cooperation, because we need their resources, because public safety is something that we all need to engage in for it to be a success.
I sense your excitement for November and beyond, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming by. Yep, we appreciate it.